Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, I want to talk about the PGO2, and I want to begin in the harbor, in the port, whatever you want to call it, and I want to take on it a little bit in a relaxed way. I just don't want to rant, even though there is so much reason to do so, and I also want to give this thing a second chance to have a second look at it. And I just wanna look at it from two perspectives. From the civil line earning potential, which I will talk about in just a few minutes as well. And I just want to talk about how this has significantly changed. And one thing in particular that just made my brain implode, because it's such a ridiculous move at the hands of Gaijin. I don't know what to think about it. And for all of you that own the PGO2, a lot of you even don't know that this has changed, or that you can remove the change. So let's go into a test sale and let's see what we were talking about. Because this 20mm Gatling gun had a rate of fire of 3,000 rounds per minute, and the APDS was super effective. So here is a target. And let's just fire at it. Okay. Then we also have a new addition, radar. But that's not really impressive, right? This is not how you remember this thing. This is not what you would expect from a Gatling gun, because this is now a rate of fire of 450 rounds per minute. 450 rounds per minute on a Gatling gun. This is what Gaijin has added. I'm not saying that it's changed, because it didn't change, and yet it did, because this thing, if you go, and this is the real thing here, this is a premium ship where something got added to nerf it. Autocannon, an ability to carry 20mm JM61 autocannon with lower fire rate of 450 shots per minute. Let's just not use this module, okay? Let's just go into the test drive and try it again, right? Here we go. So we removed an upgrade. An upgrade got removed. This is the difference between 450 rounds and 3,000 rounds per minute. You wanted bird, you got bird. And this was released in this status initially at battle rating 3.3, where I, at least when I tried it, got exclusively nothing but down tiers. And then everybody got it, because it was just a new thing, the flavor of the month, the OP civil line earning machine, and then you were just fighting yourself, but it didn't really matter, because, you know, this thing was then itself indestructible, because if you looked at the compartments, there is no armor, so yeah, so you were more or less immune to AP in terms of getting one shot, and there were 3 compartments, and they got easily destroyed, but the bridge, so difficult to hit, and so difficult to even take out, and so it was just a laser Star Wars fight. Some of the new Star Wars movies like that. Good looking, but the content itself absolutely trash and made no sense. And so Gaijin nerfed everything about this ship. It began with just simply readjusting the survivability. So you didn't really need to kill the bridge crew now or destroy the compartment, which took way too much damage to do so. So only brrrt, and you're dead. Then they added, I think, hull break, because now everybody shoots you with, I don't know, a 76mm gun, and you explode violently. Okay. Then they raised the battle rating to 3.7, and then I get most of the time up tiers versus the 4.3 destroyers, 4.7 even sometimes. And you know, at the end of the day, you have nothing but this 20mm, which, you know, has now more overheat. It feels significantly nerfed. And then the reload was always absurdly long. And then they also changed the ammunition, because the APDS has now 50mm of penetration. I don't quite remember how much it was, but it was significantly more than the APIT, which now has more penetration than the APDS. Even against angled armor and even at range. But it's significantly slower, so you don't hit as often. Oh boy. So you could argue that this one is actually the better belt, but whatever. So they nerfed the pen. Then they added a module that artificially reduced the rate of fire. They increased the battle rating and they nerfed the survivability. And then the matchmaker also got significantly worse. And then power creep happened, you know, and ships were changed. The K2 got a spawn with the patrol boats, and the K2 has armor. You can't even disable its main battery turrets from the front at 1,000 meters with APDS rounds, because the armor will not get penned, and it one-shots you, and it soaks up so much health. Same with the Syphon and so many other ships that have just those absurdly large health pools and big guns. So this thing went from an absolute Seal Club machine to something that is super situational, and to be honest, it's still overpowered. When you get a down tier, it's still overly stupid in those close quarter maps. And to be honest, it's also fun. But this is more about the business practice, because if you think, oh, that's a one-off. No. This is what Gaijin does with every single patch. They implement something as a premium which is completely bonkers, completely overpowered, and completely ruins the matchmaker. It is there to be a pay to win. Then they either print themselves or just so happen to find the secret documents that give you evidence to not so great performance, or they just say, oops, we laid out the armor wrong, aka T29 IS6. The rate of fire, shell types, stuff, you know, stuff gets removed, changed. Effectively, the premium gets nerfed into oblivion. And this is such a, you know, such a pattern that comes every patch. This is business practice. Whatever Gaijin says, I can't believe them anymore. I, as a content creator, together with many other content creators, we always try to convince Gaijin, just give us time. A longer dev server period. Just give it a week, you know. Test the vehicles. We are there. We want to help you. We want to reduce the bugs in the game. But Gaijin just simply can't really fix as many bugs as get implemented in the next patch. And then they so happen to implement vehicles like these. This is just a warning for the next patch, which will bring, inevitably, very expensive premiums. Will just lead to more power creep and feature creep. And it is you guys, because you guys throw enough money at Gaijin for them to make it worth pulling that off. They don't care about the single player, they never have. It's just their business practice, and they are getting away with it. Time after time again, patch after patch. And at the end of the day, you're sitting in a premium that you bought a long time ago, where you remembered it was absurdly good, it was absurdly effective and overpowered, and you just happened to go for more silver lines. And then you just you just simply think to yourself, what happened? And you know, to remove new modules that you probably aren't aware of, maybe you haven't seen a changelog, maybe you haven't seen the dev blog, or you haven't read the forum entry, whatever. You can easily miss it. And then, you know, the soft stats that are not directly shown, like that they nerfed the APDS, that they just gave it a different battle rating, and that it seriously affects the matchmaker of this thing. And to be honest, at the end of the day, as good as the 20mm is, it easily sees its limits versus ships with armor, versus ships that have long-range guns in the open. And I can show you so many pictures, I can show you so much evidence, but at this point in time, this is what just kept me from making a video for 2 days, because I was really planning on a massive rant, and I just didn't feel like it. And this was not a rant. This is more just explaining to you what I always try to warn you guys of. This is a business practice that is not okay. It is just preying on you guys. And you are feeding the beast that chews you up. Time after time again. Gaijin has an absolute winner at their hands with War Thunder in particular, and it's a big, massive, ambitious project, and it is successful, but it could be so much more with ease. But Gaijin just has this habit of just trying to quench a game mode for money, you know, to really press it together to get the very last dollar, euro, or Gaijin coin out of you. And they don't really care how they do it. And it's not just the case that their premiums, especially the high tier ones, you know, where they are best at earning silver lines, or they should be, and also very good at researching through the tech trees. If you're not interested in patrol boats or in any sort of, you know, little small thing, and you only want to play the big boys, you can easily get yourself, especially now, remember this guy, into top battle rating ships for a very hefty price. But you can do this. Do you want strong German technology? Yes. Do you want American, you know, anti-aircraft battery firepower, HE spam? Yes. If you wanna suffer, Britain is your choice. That's not even a joke, that's legit how this lineup is performing. But I just wonder what we'll get with the next patch. Will we see another Japan for the Soviets with even better anti-air? Will we see the same for Japan? You know, they're missing quite something here. And will we see a new naval nation? Maybe the Italians, maybe the French Navy. You know, the guess is, your guess is as good as mine. But at the end of the day, be assured that Gaijin will find a way to sell you something that first lets you ruin the fun of other players, of new players, and then at the end they nerf it, and then you're just an average ship at best, if not outright power creep. And if you go back, I warned you about the Helena, I warned you in particular about the Belfast, that buy it now, you fool, it's valid for a patch. And the very next patch, Gaijin introduced not just the Prinz Eugen, but also the Admiral Graf Spee, and we know that story, right? And this is just naval forces. The very same thing happens over and over again with jets and also tanks and also helicopters, let's be honest. I mean, if you go to helicopters, yeah, they're selling you helicopters that are very, very close to the top battle rating, right? And that thing exists. As long as Gaijin can make money, they're ruining your top tier experience in particular. I'm not happy about this, and I just warn you, it is your choice. You getting abused by Gaijin, just simply betting on your selfishness for a short time. This is the War Thunder experience. This was not a rant, This was just a mere warning. What you already know for yourself, if you're completely honest, what will happen in the next patch. And to be honest, there is only one way. There is only one way out of this. Or actually two. Point number one, you stop playing this game. Or you just don't care about it anymore and you just, choose another battle rating go for the next patch, or just go for just lower battle ratings, a different tier, another nation, There is so much to play. We have 1,500 vehicles in this game. You'll find eventually something. Imagine if you have spent days and weeks of grinding for a certain vehicle just for it to get nerfed, for it to be completely worthless. Or point number two, you as well can make YouTube videos. You as well can just become a content creator for War Thunder if you put enough time and effort into it, and then you can request, the newest stuff. It's your choice. But to really put money into this gaming company that just betrays its player base every single patch with blatant lies and excuses, but then pulling it off over and over again every single time, you have been warned. And that's it for me today. See you next time.